And welcome to the No Assembly Required podcast, a podcast where we talk about nothing. And now your trio of hosts, starting with Audrey, the Hut Ember, and Roasty Romina, and of course your Dark Lord of the interwebs, everyone's favorite, Roberto Blake. Welcome to No Assembly Required podcast, filmed in front of a live YouTube audience. Please like, subscribe, do all the things. We need it. Episode 90.
We need
Episode
it.
90.
90. This is what are we gonna do for 100?
I have no idea.
Cry? What? It would have been fun to do
$100 giveaway. $100 giveaway.
$100 giveaway.
I don't know. Maybe.
Dang.
Well, how much is that?
Think of
It's
something.
like $30. $30 each amount. I don't think that's too crazy to put into the pool.
True.
Yeah.
Should be like an Amazon gift card.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
This is not an official announcement by any
Yeah, no.
means,
Maybe we
guys.
make it. Maybe
Just
we
we're
make it.
talking about it.
Yeah, maybe we make it like a Starbucks gift card, and we put the code in there, and then enough of our
Oh, yeah.
audience can go get so then our audience can share in the bounty instead of just one person.
Yes, we can do it can just pop up randomly throughout the show, a couple different codes.
I'm into it.
Yeah, something like we could probably do something like that.
Do 3 codes. We each have one. Oh my god! And we make it pop up randomly.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that could be dope. I
I'm
like
into
stuff
it,
like
guys.
that.
That could be fun.
I'm into it.
I'll put money into our audience.
We're paying our audience to watch us.
Yeah,
Wow.
is that
Wow.
not
Wow.
authentic?
It's the other way around.
I feel
What's
like
going
that's
on?
authenticity.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so
when
we're
you
just
pay
getting-
your
we're just-
audience to watch your videos. All the
Well,
way
you know, a
through.
lot of YouTubers, especially a lot of early YouTubers, do that and have done that. A lot of YouTubers kind of bribed their audience when the Xbox and the PlayStations came out. Like when the PS5 and the PlayStation, the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 came out, a lot of YouTubers that got to be able to buy a bunch of them were saying they're doing giveaways on their channels, bribing the audience.
It's
Yeah.
not bribing, we're rewarding them.
Yeah, that's there's just different ways to look at it. You can phrase it in different ways.
It's all about perspective, guys. Perspective.
Did people buy the Constitution as an NFT? Was that the thing that was happening?
Yeah. There was an
What?
auction. There was an official auction that was happening, and so
Was it
it was a
legit?
crowd. Yeah, it was a crowdsourced.
The actual
We're going to be a part of this auction.
imagine
We
you're
didn't-
like, yeah, I just bought the Constitution.
Yeah, well, they didn't win, so that didn't happen.
If I had enough money, I would just buy the government.
Still pretty cool that it
Oh
happened.
yeah, let's sell an NFT of the U.S. government like that. You can
Let's
say you
sell
own
the-
the
yeah,
government.
the entire
Let's sell Congress. Let's sell
Entire
Congress as an
government.
NFT.
entire government.
everything.
What does that even
Like-
entail?
Well, you have to sell Congress as an NFT. You have to sell.
I don't want them though.
The Supreme
don't-
Court as
they're
an
not-
NFT.
They're not worth it.
God damn.
Depends.
It's not even 5 minutes in, guys.
Not even 5 minutes in.
There's a reason. There's a reason I'm roasting.
Come on,
them.
it's like they're not worth 0.1 ETH.
Wow.
I don't even know what the equivalent of that is.
Couple $100.
Mm.
0.1 ETH would be a couple $100. 1 ETH right now would be about $4,000. 1 ETH right now would be about $4,000.
Jesus.
Wait, here we go.
Can you believe that there was a point where I
Yeah.
actually used to hold 8 ETH, before, back when it was cheap?
And you
Nothing but
sold it?
regrets. Yeah, nothing but regrets.
Cheers.
Nothing but regrets. I used to hold multiple ETH.
Wow. $4 million of
R.I.P.
gas fees were wasted.
Oh Lord, that's actually tragic to be real with you.
It's a little. It's a
Um,
little sad.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here on my like what 60 million sheep.
What?
Slowly
Shiba
but
Inu-
surely,
I'm a
we'll
Shiba
get
Inu
there.
millionaire, homies.
Roberto.
Like
the
I'm a Shiba,
same.
I'm a legit Shiba Inu millionaire.
Shibionaire.
That's
I'm
a flex right
I'm a
there.
shibinaire. I'm a shibinaire.
Oh my god.
Sheeb. I'm a sheeb millionaire. I'm a sheeb millionaire.
She binaire.
I'm a
Audrey, you gotta catch
I'm a
up,
multi.
I know.
I'm a
I'm way
multi
behind.
sheeb.
or else you're
I'm
not
a
gonna be
multi
able.
sheeb millionaire. See,
You're
I
not
got
gonna be
in
able
early.
to be on this podcast, Audrey.
By the way,
I'm
don't
getting
nobody
kicked
go
out
by.
because I'm not a Shiba whatever. What do you just say?
Billionaire.
You're not a sheep millionaire. You
Shibinaire?
can't be on. Yeah, you
Goddamn.
can't be on, homie.
Billionaire.
But by the way, I'm not.
Jeez.
I'm not pumping or dumping, and I'm not telling you all to go buy any. By the way, like I'm just
Oh,
sitting here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
wait,
yeah,
wait. Let me
Roberta's-
find
Roberta's the
let me
whale.
find the banner. Hold on.
I
Where's the banner?
bought months ago, and I was like, you know what? Why not? And I've just been chilling in the cut.
It's
with
not
my
this one.
profits.
Hold on.
I've been
What
chilling
is
in the
this?
cut with
Why
my
are you
profits.
putting mushrooms on?
I've been
I
chilling in
was
the cut
trying to
with my
find where
profits.
this isn't real advice or this isn't
Yeah.
financial
Oh,
advice,
oh,
and I
right,
can't
right.
find it, so I put this
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
instead.
No,
Yeah.
I got you.
Because like I bought
Can
in
you
so
delete?
early that I can't lose. That's
I think
why
it's
I'm not
going to be this
recommending
one.
it. I'm not recommending it because I bought in so early that I can't
Here, we
lose.
have disclaimer.
Mm.
There you go.
Ah, yes, there we go.
That's what you were looking for. Wait, let's put our
Guys,
thing here.
I had an interesting conversation with one of my roommates the other day
Uh-huh.
about how this is going into the topic of the podcast, but we were like,
Sure.
why do engineers never get questioned on whether or not they're an authentic engineer versus creators get questioned all the time on whether or not their work is authentic?
You
can't
think that
fake being an
engineers don't
engineer.
get
You can't fake being an engineer.
you think engineers don't get
No,
questioned
but
on
by
their
like
authenticity?
authentic, I mean like what were their intentions of going into engineering? Like why are they
Engineering is not
No.
about intent, and engineering is about execution. It's not about intent. If you're an
True.
engineer, no one cares why you became an engineer. They care whether you can do what you claim you do. Like if you
But so-
make a fake credential, if you try to make a fake credential, like if you decided that, oh yeah, I have a background in engineering, and then you apply to a job, they care about that. If you say, oh, you graduated with a degree in engineering that you never did, or if you don't have a degree but you say you're an engineer and then they give you a test and you can't perform, they care about that. Because again, the thing that you're graded on is your performance and your ability and your smarts. If you're an
Yeah.
influencer, you're graded on the relationship with your audience, and in a relationship, authenticity
True.
matters. So like the one is an
is
engineer,
not just
you can be
me.
smart.
Okay.
You can even be a prick. Yeah, you can be a prick. You can be smart.
It's
You can
not.
be like, you can be like, you can have no social graces whatsoever, and you can be a successful engineer. But as a content creator, if the audience doesn't think that you're sincere, unless you're like your whole thing is a true performance piece, or you're playing a character, you
Yeah.
only win as long as either people like the character, or if you're claiming this is your authentic self, then it has to be that they believe you're authentic, but your authentic also can't be problematic.
True. Yeah, I guess it comes down to like what does authenticity mean, right? Because like I guess for
Yeah.
creators, it's like your reason for going into doing this.
No, it's
but
not even your
then-
reason. It's also about, it's not even your reason for why you went in. It's about, do you believe the things that you're saying and doing?
Yeah, but wouldn't that also? I don't know. I mean, I guess engineer's broad, but it could be like
You don't have to believe in the company.
I know exactly.
You show up to work.
But doesn't
You can
that-
show up to work, do your job, and as long as you're making the company money, they don't care if you're a true believer. Because again, all you have to do if you're an engineer is appease your employer. All you have to do is make your employer money. The end. If you're a content creator, though, you're not appeasing an employer. You're appeasing an audience, and the culture of that audience, what they think is okay, can shift tomorrow.
Yeah. True. That's true. I mean, I guess even just like, okay, engineers may be too specific, but just in general, when like creators go into wanting to turn whatever it is that they do into a job, I feel, at least for me, from my personal experience, there's a lot of like, why am I doing this? Am I doing this for the right reasons? Like there's a lot of questioning yourself and making sure, just in general, a lot of questioning yourself. about your intentions. Even though it is like a job, like any other job. Even though, yeah, there's a lot of like public scrutiny and you're making content for an audience, but at the core of it, you're just an artist who wants to turn their art into a business.
Well, I think when people feel like they have this attachment to you, they feel like you're supposed to do it for them instead of the idea that you're doing it for the money or for money at all. And the thing is, that's stupid because, again, if it's your livelihood, you're obviously doing it as long as it's
I'm not saying
making
like
sense to do it.
Yeah, I'm not like when I said that I didn't mean like, oh, I'm only doing it for money reasons. It's just it's not something that I feel like. I don't know. I don't think they should.
Is it wrong for a creator? Is it wrong? Would it be wrong for a creator to stop doing their creative work if they don't make money doing it?
No.
Exactly. Because because think about it. People who are freelancers or people on the come up, they complain all the time about why should I think there's hypocrisy on the part of viewers. And like, yeah, I said it. Maybe not our viewers, but in a general sense, I think that viewers are hypocrites because they'll be out there and they'll say something no, I'm being real though. I'm being authentic. I'm being authentic because I'm not holding back. I'm not going to pander to people. I'm going to say it. People will be out here with their whole chest and talk about not working for free or not working for poverty wages, but then they're going to dunk on a creator that takes a brand deal. They're going to dunk on a creator for taking a brand deal and making money, but then they're going to sit there and say, well, I work so hard and I don't get paid enough for the thing. It's like, well, okay, so the creator's supposed to sit there and spend 20 hours editing a video with no guarantee that YouTube's going to pay them and not take a sponsorship? They're supposed to work for free. They're supposed to work for exposure. They're supposed to work for attention, but you're not. It is hypocritical. True. It is hypocritical for people with their whole chest to say, I won't work for free, or don't waste my time, or I'm not going to take a BS job or whatever. Content creators, when they get started, they work at a loss. Every hour that someone spends making content when they're on Twitch and YouTube, when they're a small YouTuber, they're doing it at a loss. Every time they do it, they're not working a $8, $10, $20 an hour job, and yet they're still working really hard on something with no guarantee of pay or an outcome for getting that thing, right? So they're supposed to sink 100 hours, 1,000 hours into doing something and lose money and not do it and invest money into it along the way to make it better for people watching. But then they're not supposed to get some kind of guaranteed income that comes from working with a brand. Or they're not like, oh, I'm mad you sold out and you put ads on your video. See what I'm saying?
The shade in the comments is real. Roberto, did you see that? That was actually funny.
Hey, I'm just saying.
I don't think he knows. He doesn't know.
No, we don't.
I'm watching. I'm looking at the comments.
Do we tell him do we tell him what's happening?
You have been glitching a couple times, so that's why this is funny.
Okay.
I mean,
it's fine, though,
okay, but the quality of what you're saying is top notch, and that has not been degraded. It's just your image a little bit.
Maybe, and here's the funny thing about that: I'm paying for the good internet too. Thanks, Comcast.
Yeah, well, the audience wants to chip in here and get you a Starlink.
We were just talking about paying them, and now they're like, nah, let's get you some better internet.
I'll take it. Like, I wonder what my speed is, because like sometimes it depends.
Maybe
on the
you're
time
uploading Are you downloading anything? Uploading anything? In the background?
Shouldn't be.
Maybe.
No, it shouldn't be. But I'm gonna run a speed test. I don't know. Download speed is high, so what's my upload speed?
I don't know.
As per always, thank you, Comcast.
Yeah, thank you. Oh wait, are we throwing?
I'm throwing shade at Comcast. Yeah, I said it.
Let's tweet at him.
No.
Because then they'll just throttle me.
Yeah, let's not provoke them any further.
Okay, is my thing any better? Is my thing any better now? Because I just tested and my speed should be fine.
I mean, I don't know. It's not like it just is a constant thing. It was just coming in and out like
I think
you
it
would
happened like
glitch and then-
twice.
yeah.
Okay.
And then you would just like catch up real quick. Like your
Okay,
camera would
that's-
just go real quick.
It is what it is.
I have an interesting story from Vid Summit kind of related to this.
Ooh.
So I was talking to this guy who I've never met someone who is so open about only starting a channel, like having no artistic background, like not wanting to do YouTube for any, like no like interest at all in the videos or in the process of making video, nothing. Like
Straight
no
up like I want to make money.
Yeah, no, he was just like, yeah, no, I have a channel and I do Minecraft videos because they do really well, but I don't care about, or he didn't say I don't care, but he was not particularly
he's not
invested
passionate.
in, about like video creation, like nothing related.
He just wanted to be a
at all.
YouTuber. He just wanted to be a YouTuber.
No, he doesn't even like, I don't think his face is on his channel. Like it's literally just a way for him to make money. And I was like,
Oh.
I appreciate the fact that you are just super like upfront, because I feel like a lot of people,
I mean, it's a career
Well,
now,
and-
so it's like you can do
Yeah.
a
Well, that's
career and not be
authentic.
passionate about
he
it.
was just like, I'm
You
just,
can
this
do
is
a-
the tool that was there and I used it and now it's my business.
So-
Does
so
everybody
you're-
need to be passionate about the work? Does everybody need to be passionate about the work they do? No, plenty of people are not passionate about the work they do.
No,
but
it's
it pays
just important
well.
to have passions.
Right.
Yeah.
They'd rather be
Right.
passionate about something outside of work, not make their job their identity, and
Yeah.
they make good money that finances their passion. And like, yeah, not everyone has to love their job. I stand by that. Not everyone has
would
to
you-
love their career or job. That's fine.
So would you
Yeah.
say, Audrey, that your measurement for authenticity is the intention that goes behind the creation of the channel and the content creating?
I think my measure of authenticity, I think in the past I would have been more, I mean, that's still important, but I think in the past I would have held that to a higher importance. Now it's more about the actual content itself and what image they're portraying. And if they're,
Consistent.
yeah, if they're consistent, if they also are kind
And
of
by
like
consistent, I mean consistent in their
lying.
character. Yeah.
Yeah, like if they're lying,
Mhm.
if they're portraying a character that they're not, and especially if that character has like unrealistic standards that could make viewers feel like potatoes in comparison, like that's the type of stuff that I would view as inauthentic, especially if they're not open about it. Like if they're, if it's a character and they're doing it on purpose and everyone's aware and in on it, cool. But if they're like putting on a show and it's not obvious and they're like, even if it might be kind of obvious, if they're literally trying to make it seem like that's what they are actually like and faking things to that extent, then that's where I'm like, all right.
So like a real example of that would be like if somebody's like a commentary channel that like gets very much into holding, quote unquote, holding people accountable for their behavior, and then they lie or they're dishonest or they get caught in a lie or they get caught faking a story or something like that, or they do the same thing they canceled someone else for. See, that's like one of the other problems with cancel culture is like you end up being a hypocrite on a long enough timeline because you dunk on somebody or end somebody's career for something and then you get caught doing the same thing or something similar, or then it's your turn and you're like, oh no, well not me, like. And somebody earlier brought up like Trisha Paytas. There's like a whole list of like the hypocrisy of like stuff she did when she was in the Vlog Squad that she then canceled other people for, and it's like it's really weird. And then there's some other stuff with that. I mean, remember how everyone was like, oh, like poor Big Nick and everything. Big Nick's getting canceled right now because like he said some things and people feel some kind of way about it. Like people on one hand thought he was a victim, like what 6 months ago it was they thought he was a victim. Seth has allegations. It's like all these people that were put in front of us that we were said were like quote unquote like victimized by David Dobrik, and I'm not saying maybe they weren't or something. I'm just saying that's like it's interesting that like what you're saying is like, okay, when people portray or they do one thing or say one thing or they're like, oh, this, and then it turns out they either did the same thing or they did something just as bad. It's really hard because we end up in a situation where it's like, oh, you did the same thing, or you're like coming at people for the same thing you did or something similar or you're just as bad, or oh crap, you did something worse now, and it becomes. I mean, that was part of the problem with the frenemies breakup. The frenemies breakup, people felt conflicted because they they thought Trish was one way, and then they realized how problematic she was. Even Ethan thought one thing, and then it turned out to be another way.
Yeah, I definitely, in those types of things, that's where it really is apparent to me.
Who would you say are the most authentic creators on the platform right now?
I mean, the first thing that came up in my head was Casey.
Yep.
Like that was literally the first example that popped up, even though he's not really like a current creator.
I'd say Justine.
Yeah.
I'd say Justine is. I would say from every interaction I've had with online with like Graham Stephan, Ali Abdaal, those people, Matt Diavella, I believe them to be genuine and authentic, and to believe the things that they're saying, and to be consistent. Whenever I've seen them do anything, I feel like they're consistent in what they believe a lot. I would say that
I'd say PewDiePie, just because he did it from just
I would say
fun.
he is now. I would say he is now, but he admitted to fake positivity for he did like 3 years of fake positivity. Like, I would say he's very authentic and vulnerable now, because he actually recently admitted that he ended up developing a drinking problem, and I think it was related to being depressed about certain things that happened during that we won't go too hard into, during like T-Series versus PewDiePie. There were some really bad things that happened, things that were done in his name, and I can understand getting depressed and drinking more just to like get through that. And and so he said that he had to address that and deal with it, and kudos to him for being like super but I also think that people don't have to be. I think people can have their
that open.
They don't have to. I don't think anyone should feel like they have to be, and that they have to. Like, I was talking to a creator friend that's on the come up, and they were like do I need to set this kind of boundary? One of somebody in the community wants to like be friends and talk on the phone, and I was like, no, fans aren't necessarily like appropriate for you to have that kind of like friendship or relationship with if you don't have a pre-existing one, because you don't know enough of those people. And I'm like, well, you have a family, you have small children, I don't like want to take any chances. They're like, well, really? I was like, well, the problem with the boundary here is like, if you get this wrong, if you're wrong and you misjudge somebody and you don't become friends with this fan, then you miss out on a cool friendship, okay? But if you're wrong and they turn out to be dangerous, your family's in jeopardy and you can't walk it back. So it's like the downside is too big. The downside is too big. I mean, it sounds harsh to say something like if you say the words fans are not friends, that sounds harsh, condescending, and like you don't appreciate your fans. But if you take what a friend is and you stop taking it for granted, and you think about like the vulnerability, the intimacy, the access, and you think about the fact that you're kind of welcoming them into being adjacent to your family. Now they're part of your life in a different way, and they're part of other people's life in a different way. You have to take the word friend as a responsibility. It's not something you can just throw around with strangers on the internet. It's like a real responsibility to have a friend, and to be a friend is a responsibility. You can't just throw that word around with strangers on the internet because it seems cute, or because it would make you more relatable.
Uh-oh. What happened to her?
I don't know. But
I was just moving my computer further away from my mic.
I see.
Gotcha.
Also, the thing with like the fans and connecting with fans, like you can connect with fans not on the phone, like there are other options where you can have conversations with people, like for example a Discord server, which is a lot safer of an environment and a better way to establish boundaries than like calling them on the phone.
Yeah, or in this case it was them wanting to call the creator, so them calling them, like them calling you.
If that happened to me, I'd just be like, join my Discord server and we can chat.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, and respecting, it's like, it's weird that you have like these people, you have adults that will sit there and drive their kids up to a creator's house. They'll find a creator online, stalk a creator online, take their kids to see creator, and it's like, what are you doing at my house? And they'll be like, well, no, can't you take a selfie? It's like, no, you're at my house. Or it's like oh, well, you owe them. We, like, the fans made you. How dare you? It's like I get to be a human being when I turn the camera off, and you do not get to just come up to my house. And people do that. People do that. People try to get people's phone numbers. People try to roll up to their house. People really do try to insert themselves into the lives of creators. They try to do that. Some of them meddle in people's relationships.
Have you guys ever had somebody?
I already told you about mine. I'm not going to repeat it here.
Well, I mean, have you guys ever had somebody find your phone number and call you or text you?
No comment.
Does that happen to you, Romina?
Yeah, I had it happen to me once a long time ago when it was like when iMessages was starting to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had followers on at that time. It was like Justin.tv and Twitter. Those were like mainly where I was at, and then a little bit of YouTube. And so like I had some following because of that. And then like iMessages came out, and then I had a couple people who messaged me because, my email was my public email that was like attached like
to your
to my iMessages. And so like it just happened randomly where they're just like, oh my God, Romina, blah, blah. And I was like, this is not an invitation.
This is not okay.
Just because you figured out how to access me. That was not, and I never responded. But that was like, it happened like so fast, like as soon as that was like a thing, it was like super fast. And I was like, oh, okay, this is weird. So I had to turn it off and change it and all that stuff. Like I did it right away.
How did that make you feel? Quick. How did that make you?
But I never even responded or like said, hey, don't do this. Leave me alone. I was just like, bye.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I think it's just like that, like just putting yourself into that, kind of just forcing yourself onto a creator.
Yeah.
This is kind of weird.
Trying to force a relationship out of thin air
right.
is kind of, that's
right, yeah.
That's sus. But the thing is, we're in a situation where people have these unhealthy parasocial relationships with the people that they consume, like bordering on obsession. Some of them, and people like, okay, for most people, no harm comes of it. But the thing is, that emotional over attachment has people doing things like, spending more money than they should, for example, or getting really invested in the back and forth with a creator, or being really invested even when it's negative. Like, I mean, with the drama stuff, for example, sometimes getting super, super into... I've known people to be so invested in cancel culture that they found and meddled with somebody's significant other who's not even a public figure. Multiple times I've seen this happen. And like I've seen people go after people's family. I've known like a creator where somebody like went after their wife, who's not a public figure, while they were pregnant with another child on the way. That's not healthy. That's not conscionable. I don't care what somebody did. It's none of your business, and it's not your thing, and it's not for you to hold them accountable in terms of consequences. Who the hell are you? Like, let me find out the worst thing you did. You see what consequences I think are appropriate. You like, is that going to be okay? Well, no, of course not. So it's like, it's not like I feel like I don't blame social media as technology. I'm not the type to blame the technology, but the problem I have is I think that we've miscalculated the idea that that everybody that has this technology acts in good faith, and that everyone that's using this technology is in their right mind.
Right, that's the key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have kind of a weird story about parasocial relationships that's a little different.
Okay.
But It's weird because it didn't start out as like a person who's a fan, but it was someone I met like once on a one-off situation, and they started basically messaging me like all the time, and I would answer in like very simple, like try not to be rude, one-off, like I'll just like it or just be like haha, like that type of answer. And it went on for like
Professional.
yeah, it went
Cordial. Yeah.
it was like a random dude, and it went on for like a year. And sometimes
Oh,
for a
geez.
while there, I just did not answer at all. Like I just leave them on red because I don't like having the notifications. So I literally just leave them on red. And then like a year later, he sends me this essay, and he was talking about how he had talked to a therapist, and they had come to the conclusion that, so after he met me, I guess he started watching my YouTube videos, and he got into like a parasocial like
Obsession.
relationship where he felt like he knew me more than he actually did. And so that's why he wouldn't leave me alone for a year. And I didn't answer the message, and I just like unfollowed and blocked basically. But I did appreciate the
Jeez.
fact that at least he realized that. But honestly, I
And
hadn't
went
been
to
thinking about
therapy?
it too much.
And went
Yeah,
to
I
therapy.
hadn't even, I know, but I hadn't even been thinking about it because, you know, I was just ignoring it and like it basically this whole time. So, but it was interesting because he wasn't a fan when I met him, but it was after I met him that he started stalking my channel, and then that turned into whatever. So that, I think that was strange to me, because it's like the opposite way around. It's like if I just meet someone random, like that could happen. Like it's not even like just the other way around.
Have you guys watched the Netflix show You?
I've watched a little bit of it.
No, but I know enough.
Watch
I
it.
know
Watch
enough.
it. Watch it. Watch it. Like watch it.
I ain't
Like,
about that life, man. I lived it.
Yeah,
I don't.
watch it.
Why is he the guy who like kills,
Yeah.
or they both kill people?
Man, why are you trying to spoil it for people? Yeah,
Just
don't-
watch
I mean,
it
that's
all
a
the way to the
pretty
beginning to the
broad
end. Just watch.
spoiler.
Just watch it.
I
Like-
think that it's TBH. I think it's a little commendable that he actually came around and was like, "Hey, I have a problem." I think that's pretty cool.
I appreciate
And recognizing
but
it and
I
getting
was
help.
also
It's
kinda
like, right.
Right? Yeah. I mean, he didn't
Dodged
have
a
to.
bullet there.
You know, to
Dodged
me,
a bullet
like
there.
I haven't.
Imagine if you had
Yeah.
interacted with him. Imagine if you had gave him the slightest bit of attention where like
Well, she gave him enough attention. She said, "Ha
Yeah,
ha."
apparently my haha.
I'm saying beyond that, like, okay, but thank you for anybody who goes to therapy.
Yeah.
Thank you
I
for
think
anybody
it's
who
good.
deals
I
with
just-
their issues.
I'm glad now out of curiosity, but honestly, he didn't need to tell me because I wasn't aware the entire time, right? Like I was just like living my life.
Right. No,
List
I
of
get
things
that.
you don't need to know. But again, I
Like
think it was.
he didn't have to send. It was
I think
mature,
he did because
but
it's like I
also-
think it was probably. I think that was part of his recovery. I think part of your recovery is you're
Yeah.
supposed to make amends. You're supposed to make amends. So I think that was his version of making amends.
I agree. I see how that
Yeah.
could help. It's just from my perspective, it was so out of left field, but it is what it is. It's fine. I was just like, okay.
So,
I
where
didn't
did you,
answer. Just like,
where did you meet this person? Was it at a con?
No, it was just like with friends
I see.
randomly.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility that you will bump into Tim again. At some point.
No,
I see. All right. Okay. Oh, it's
Good.
that kind of friend group.
no. It was just like a super random. It was a very
not us.
random
It was-
situation.
A barnacle.
It was not us.
No. No. I'm keeping it
Okay.
very vague.
Yeah.
Okay, that's healthy. That's good. That's smart. That's smart. I mean, my version was like I went to straight to no comment. We're not talking about mine.
Yeah, you were
so, yeah.
extremely vague.
Damn right.
No.
So so like looking at it, it's like I think that with authenticity, there's a double-edged sword there because you put too much out of yourself. You're too vulnerable. People know where to hurt you. People know how to pick you apart. People know how to trigger you. That's like, so that's not reasonable. And then if you're not authentic enough, then people think you're disingenuous or fake, or they can't build a connection with you. They can't be invested in what you're doing. So there's something to that. That's why I think, again, there are things where like Felix, PewDiePie, he's kind of learned how much of it is him playing a character and having fun, and then how much of it is you need to know where I stand on issues sometimes, or what I really think, and he can like take himself out of character. And so, there's that. I feel that Jimmy, Mr. Beast, is extremely authentic, but I think a lot of people don't think so. But I think they don't understand. Like, I think that they keep grafting their belief of what he should be onto him instead of taking him at face value at his word. You know what I'm saying? So like that. So there's that part of it, and I think that that's the other thing. I think that people, they see something from you and then they get expectations, and I feel like that's their fault, right? So like I feel like that's their fault. Like there's expectations people have of me all the time. They're like, well, you're a black creator, so you're supposed to think this, you're supposed to support this, you're supposed to. I'm like I'm a person who can make up their own damn mind, and how dare you make assumptions for me? And so there's that. Or and you guys have seen like situations with that, with like how people make assumptions about me, or it's like, or you should do this, or you should support this, or you should believe in this, or like blah blah blah. And I'm like, I'm me, and I've always been very clear about how my thought process and how my brain works, and what I like. I've been out here being very clear and very transparent about where I'm at for like over 10 years on these internet streets. Just because you came along 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 months ago and you decided to make up a version of me in your head that's inconsistent with how I've been for the last like 10 years I've been out in these internet streets, that's on you, homie, not me. Or why don't you ask me instead of assuming? Or why don't you listen when I tell you why I think things the way I think them, or what I'm doing? Or, it's I don't like when people like try to put you in a box, and then when you inevitably don't fit, they decide that that's what they're going to punish you for. And that's what this whole cancel culture accountability thing really is. It's like, it's putting people in a box where you think they belong and then punishing them when they don't fit.
Yeah, I think that to answer the question, is authenticity on YouTube dead? I think what really matters is what your definition of authenticity is, right? Because I think if we do have someone who is, for example, like someone that Audrey mentioned earlier, who just joined YouTube just to have that money-making channel, right? For example, very basic kind of stuff, like no creative
drive
process to it, right? That to me would be authentic. That's authentic. I feel like the dude knows what they're there for, and they're doing.
As long as they're not telling the audience, how much they're passionate about it, how much they love the community, as long as they're not pretending to be emotionally invested in a way that they're not, when we know that, oh, this is just a job, then that's different.
But it's possible that they do care too. I think
yes, but I'm saying as long as they don't exaggerate. Yeah, as long as.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they're being honest about it, right? And I mean, there's definitely a lot of people who are creative and who don't care about the audience or the community, right?
But I agree 100%. But like, don't say something like, you can say I'm not only in it for the money. You can't say I'm not in it for the money. You have to say I'm not only in it for the money.
I'm in it for the money.
And the thing is, I don't think it's unreasonable to be. I don't think it's unreasonable to be. Right.
Wow, you don't have to come in so hot.
No, not so hard, but like,
jeez, she's coming in.
Not so hard, but I'm like, but I'm like,
no, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Like because I mean, I'll give you a primary example of like something like. So authenticity can mean a lot of things. It's not even just always the audience. Sometimes it's the brands knowing that you authentically care and you're not just trying to take their money, like and just, oh, I'm just in it to get your money or whatever.
But I'll start caring about that when brands start caring about that.
Ooh.
Well, some do. You just have to work with the right
course.
ones.
I mean, some do, but also some creators don't and do, right? So
all right. So like I'm just using myself as an example here.
No, yeah, of course.
There's a brand that wanted to offer me double
But you are the
the
very small percentage of chivalry that still remains. There's
well, I'll take the compliment, but I want to tell the story though. I'll take the compliment, but like, so there's a brand and it was doing this promotion, right? And they're doing this promotion, and anybody, not just like the influencers, but anybody that does referrals on it will get X amount of money on the referrals, right? And they wanted to offer me double in the hopes that I would push it more. And I go, well, guys, you're paying me monthly, and you're going to give me a commission on this promotion. That's generous, and I actually am invested because it's a company that I'm also an investor in, and I'm like, your success is my success. I'm invested, and I like promote this regardless of whether there's a promotion going on or not. I want this to succeed. I want you to make the thing better over time. I want it to succeed. I want people to use it. I'm like, you don't have to offer me double. I'm happy with taking what everybody else is getting, and I'm okay with that. I don't need you to incite me. I don't need an extra level of compensation. I'm happy with the relationship we have, and the fact that you're offering bonus incentives to everybody is generous. In fact, you should highlight that you're doing this in this place, this place, so everybody knows about it. But I'm like, I don't need double what everyone else is getting. I'm happy getting what everybody else is getting. I don't need more. And I'm like, and I meant it, and I wanted to communicate that because I'm like, no, I need you to know that I'm not just going to do things only when I get more money. I'm going to do things regardless because I want this to succeed and because it solves my own problem if you get this right. And I just need you to make me a better tool. And I need you to, I'm great with our monthly relationship, and I'm great with what we're doing. And so I think I made a really strong impression with them of my authenticity of like, no, I'm really invested in the success of this thing. I don't know if you've been having to have conversations with your other influencers and if you've had to incentivize them more to get them to do anything, but I'm like, but me, I'm happy to outwork them as is, like, and for me, I felt like I had to show where I'm at. And because again, I can turn down money, and I'm not saying that as a flex. I'm saying that as I don't need, like, money doesn't motivate me as much as it would motivate other people. I am motivated on some levels by money, but not for everything I do and not for every relationship I have. You get what I'm saying? There's even a point where like a certain amount of money to do something would actually make me uncomfortable, or it'd make me wonder, it's like, what do I not know if you feel like you need to go harder, here, or like, is there like, have I done something that makes you insecure about whether I'm invested here or whether I'm committed, or like, what I'm saying? It's like, if you feel like you need to, like, if someone feels like they need to motivate me more to do something, it makes me wonder about how they're perceiving me doing things in the first place. So like, for me, it's that kind of thing. I wouldn't want people to think that they can move the needle with me just by like dangling money and then I'll do whatever. I'm like, no, I have to actually care about something to be motivated to do something. Money is not like, there are things that when I don't want to do them, there's not an amount of money that would make me do them. Like my brain doesn't work that way. It's not.
Oh.
I'm saying I'm noble and I can't be bribed. I'm saying it's not that I'm ethically can't be like motivated by money. I'm saying that if there's no novelty or creativity or chase, it's very difficult for me to do something I don't care about.
All right.
That's more of you can't make me do something boring. You can't make me do something I'm uninterested in. You can't just throw money at me and make me do something I don't like doing. Which is probably why I don't work at a regular job anymore.
Yeah, well, you've evolved.
Yeah.
It's an evolution, a process.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I think when you're past like, oh, I can survive mode.
Right. Yeah.
Like it becomes harder to motivate you with money exclusively.
Right. Yeah. you start to get.
I mean,
little-
Audrey, you had
little
a situation
picky.
like that happen.
Yeah.
You had a recent situation where it's like you were
That
like, oh, I'm
wasn't
just gonna
too
turn
long
down that
ago.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big turning point.
You would have never been able to go back in time, or if you were talking to other people, they'd never believe you turned down that amount of money just to keep like autonomy and freedom.
Yeah. I wouldn't have believed it like just over a year ago. For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's easy to assume that creators sell out all the time, or that it's easy for creators to sell out. It's like, you'd be surprised how many creators are turning down bags that keep either their freedom or their integrity.
I think that's one of the coolest things about this community, though. Like, there's obviously the people who are inauthentic in the ways that we've described, but I think literally the vast majority, because it's so hard to do this, like, they actually really like it, which is awesome. Like, I think the vast majority of people do it because they really like to do it. So I don't know. Like, I think
I think it's hard.
It's
I think it's hard to do it and not like it. Like, it's hard to kind of jump. It's not necessarily a thing that's like a low barrier to entry, you know?
Yeah, and you have to go out of your way to like really do it properly. So I think
even for
everyone
people who pay, you know,
really like it.
Like even for people, because like I've definitely had clients who've reached out and who are like, money isn't a question. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have to do anything except just record, like be in front of the camera or do a voiceover, right? Like, they have this idea. It's like either like a real estate channel or, you know, something like that, where it's just like, they're just like, oh yeah, I got to get into the YouTube game, you know, like whatever, I got to do the thing. And so they come up with like a basic ass thing, and then they don't even enjoy it, right?
You can see when people are phoning it in.
Right. But then my point is that because they aren't passionate about it, they eventually fall out. And so I've actually seen this where it's like, it's hard to do even when it is easy to do.
Yeah.
Like in the most basic level, where you don't have to set up the camera, you don't have to worry about editing, you don't have to worry about SEO, you don't have to do anything because you're outsourcing it. Even in that most basic level, it's still hard to do.
I think that's why, even though it gets harder because I keep raising my quality on some things, I think though that it's why I still do everything for the YouTube channel. I mean, I outsource certain things within the business. I still do a lot of things in my business, but I still do everything for my YouTube channel, I guess, because I think I've been able to do it this long because I actually I care and I actually really like it and I put thought into it, and it's like, it's harder to make content sometimes because of that, because I am invested and I like only want to make something I think is good or will do well. You know, it'd make me more money if I just posted 3 videos a week, no matter how I feel. And I could do that. That's what a job is. You do your job, whether you feel like it or not. Like, but if I just posted 3 times a week and never missed an upload, I'd be like swimming in pools of money because it would work. Like, but I post when I feel like I can make a good video, and sometimes life gets in the way and I can't always do that. Like with this move, I haven't posted in 3 weeks. I've done live streams on other people's channels. I've done this podcast. Some of moving has interfered with this podcast, but I haven't posted to my main channel in 3 weeks. And it's because, not even because I don't even have good ideas. I have great ideas. I have sponsors lined up. I have all the things. And it's that, well, damn, I want to make a good video, and I didn't feel like I had my setup and my office and my things in place. And I was like, I really want to make a good video. So I wasn't going to do it halfway. You know what I'm saying? So I genuinely feel like you're right, that you can tell when people care, and you can tell when they're just doing something to do it, or when it's just about the money, but not in a way where it balances, where like they at least care about doing it well. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, it hits different. It hits different. Question: are Jake and Logan Paul authentic?
Ooh. Are you trying to start something?
I'll be right back.
Oh man, she's like, I'm not even gonna answer that. I think it's a little tough for me to answer that question. I definitely don't feel like I've watched enough. I mean, I know about the drama just because of like what we talk about every week, and then also just stuff that happens online, like on Twitter.
Yep.
I feel like they are. I feel okay. I feel like they are authentic because they are authentic to their to the brand. Yeah,
False.
to the characters that they are. Like their personas, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like they're authentic in that sense. Like, are they authentic human
They've been
beings?
consistent.
That's
Well, I mean, is there a difference there? It's like, so there's a difference because it's like, it's not about whether you think they're morally, authenticity is not moral correctness, or it's not goodness, or it's not, it's like, I
It's being
believe that
real.
they believe.
no, yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
yeah. So it's one of those, even as human beings,
right. But I guess I was saying,
again,
on
I don't know them
I
personally in that
again
way,
was
but
talking about my own personal take on authenticity, like what it is to be
Yeah.
an authentic human being, right?
like, I believe that they believe.
Right.
You know, that's what I think authenticity is. Do I believe that they believe?
Right.
It's like so like, that's who that's what them acting, like how they, what they actually believe, like that's their yeah.
Yeah. I feel like
It's like, do I sincerely believe, okay, I get a prime example. It's like if you ask somebody, it's like, if you ask somebody, it's like, you can tell when someone truly believes in Bitcoin.
yeah, but I wouldn't. I guess that one's a little bit more difficult because there's still so many uneducated people in
That's
that
fair.
industry, right? And so they might be passionate about it, but it might come off as inauthentic because they're just repeating the rhetoric because they don't actually know too much about it yet, if that makes sense.
They can be wildly uneducated, but they might be a true believer. And so, like, the thing is,
Right.
it's like, they can be incorrect, but the thing is, they could sincerely believe an incorrect thing.
I am curious
like-
to know what Audrey's response is to your question.
Yeah.
To
Audrey,
Logan
did you
Paul?
catch that?
Are
are the
Jake
Paul-
and Logan authentic?
Yeah.
I think now they are.
Okay.
Back in the
Oh,
day,
that's good. That's good.
more questionable.
Like when they were quote unquote well behaved, like,
Yeah, what's that? What do you mean by elaborate? Expand.
I feel like, well, they're different, right? Like with Logan, I feel like he definitely had like but he is like that though. That's the thing. We also don't
I think
know.
Logan's more authentic. I think Logan might be more authentic.
No, Logan definitely is more authentic and was than Jake. I think Jake is now fully embraced the fact that he's a I want to
it.
swear on this channel.
No,
We don't want to get demonetized.
He's embraced that he's the younger
He's
brother.
embraced the villain card.
Okay, that's fair. Like, or he's decided to play that character, because I don't know that he's a person that is a villain. I mean, what are his like villainous, like, what has he done that's so god awful
I mean,
bad?
it's
Like,
kind of like besides the point. It's just that he's more. It's not
he's
as
a
like
heel.
faking
Like
positivity,
in wrestling,
like,
in
yeah.
WWE, he'd be like a heel, right? Logan be a face. Jake would be a heel if we're talking like WWE
I don't think they're
wrestling.
like faking anything. That's the thing.
No.
I feel like
I
they're
don't
just,
think they are, but
know.
I don't think they're faking it. That's the thing. But I'm saying in wrestling terms, the term here in wrestling terms is like a face and a heel. And Logan's always in his brand been a face, even at his worst. He's always been like more of a face. I think he was inauthentic when he tried to be a heel. He tried to be a heel for a little bit after Japan, and that was fake. And he was like, "I'll be what people want me to be. Then, since they're not going to believe me, I'll just embrace the villain card." And he's like, "Oh, but that's not really who I am." So he went back to being a face, and he's like, "I'm going to redeem myself. Just watch me." And he did. And for at least for some people, for a lot of people, and he revived his career as a result. In a way where everyone said he was done, he said, "No, I'm not. Watch me." And I respect that. I respect that a lot.
Yeah.
With Jake. Jake's always been a hard worker. Jake's always been an adrenaline junkie. Even early in his career, he was in a near fatal motorcycle accident. He's always been. But the thing is, I think he suffers from second child syndrome. You know, not to diagnose him or not to play armchair psychologist, but like as an older brother, I can see that like when you have like younger siblings always feel that they're in the shadow of their older sibling. That's how it is, and they react to that in different ways. And Jake is much said that he's always felt like he's competing with his brother in the brother's shadow, and he feels like, I don't want to be my brother's sparring partner, I want my brother to be my brother, but he hasn't ever had it. He said that. This is like me quoting, like paraphrasing. So what I think is, I think that that's authentic, and I think that everything he does is an authentic expression of whatever his pain is, you know, whatever he's going through. And
Yeah.
I think it's an authentic expression of what happens when someone gets fame and money really, really, really young and doesn't have guardrails and doesn't have grounding. Like, here's an interesting parallel. Disney kids in general, and then we can start wrapping up. But it's like, I will tell you that things play out differently for some Disney kids than others. And it always comes down to their parents. It always comes down to the parents that are going to ground them and hold them accountable and keep them in line versus the parents that is like, they don't care what happens as long as they're getting their cut. There's a difference between people who are going to be your manager and people who are still going to be your parent. Like, and the thing is, the Disney kids who have parents that are like, no, I'm still just your parent. I am your parent. There's Disney kids who are like, who have parents who are like, I am your parent. And then there are Disney kids who is like, I'm your manager in the business, or what, like, honey, this is a partnership. And like, it's like, no, there's a difference between the parents who will still tell you clean your room, still go upside your head, doesn't matter how famous you are.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between a parent who's like, well, honey, we got to protect your brand.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
I feel like a good example of an authentic celebrity, I would say, is Hillary Duff.
Yes. Oh, she
Who's
gets
Hillary
so
Duff?
much. Oh, dear God in heaven, you
I'm
sweet
kidding.
summer
That
child.
was a joke. That was a joke. I got you.
You
I think I
pranked
just
me
had
good.
a mini cardiac arrest.
You pranked me good. You pranked me good, Ember, because I could believe that.
That was you.
Well played,
That's kind
madam.
of sad for my end.
You should
but
consider
alright.
a career in acting.
Like, you know what? It's like,
Wow, that was
got
so
me.
That was so painful.
you got me. You got me. Well played, madam. Got me.
I don't encourage that behavior. I'm gonna squirt you with water.
Oh, so I should have gave her one of these?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Boo.
Oh.
Anyway, I think that she's a good example of authenticity in media. I feel like
I agree.
there's not a lot of those.
I agree. No, I agree. What else do we really like? So definitely her. I feel like
How about Audrey Ember?
oh, Audrey's definitely authentic.
Yeah, sometimes.
Excuse me.
I think I'm too honest. I think my radical honesty is a problem.
Radical honesty.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the
You're
thing.
radical.
No. I'm like, I'll tell you the truth, even if it hurts. Like, I'm like, I won't sit there and I won't tell you something you want to hear, even if it's in my own best interest to tell you straight up to your face something that I don't really think is true. Like, I will sit there and I will tell you what I think.
I'll be even more honest than you. I don't think I'm fully authentic.
What makes you think that?
Maybe because...
no one has to be fully authentic.
Okay. Well, then I'm quasi-authentic, I guess.
No one's
I feel like I'm
authentic.
I feel
So
like I'm
here's
a
the
bit
thing.
more of all right. No, I understand what you're saying, but I guess what I'm saying is that there is like this, what I portray in my videos is only a sliver.
That's true for everybody. That doesn't make you inauthentic. because it's contextual to the frame
Sure.
of what you. It's contextual to the frame of like that situation. You're being authentic in the moment to that situation. You're authentic to the moment of that situation. You
No,
don't
I
have to
get
be all of yourself at all times. You see what I'm saying?
no, yeah,
Like,
no, I
yeah,
get that. But I guess I do wish that there were other sides that were more,
parts of you
yeah,
represented and
exactly,
your.
yeah.
Well, you could do more variety of, in theory. I mean, if you don't care about the growth part and you want the expression part, you could, in theory, represent more of yourself. That's why I do the live streams with Viper. Is more of who I am is represented by doing a live stream. That's also the live streams I do with you guys. More of who I am is represented in the frame of rambling and doing
Right.
this. Whereas
Yeah.
if I have to do a video, I'm authentic to the subject matter of the video in that context. I'm authentic to my feelings, thoughts, and what I believe about the subject matter of the video that I'm doing. But that's like a sliver of my interest. So if I want to express more of myself, I have to do a different video, a different channel, or a different thing, or a different platform. Or so that's where the podcast, the interviews, those like more outlets for expression, because platforms do put you somewhat in a box. So the thing is, if you want to be
Right.
more of yourself, you have to check more boxes, which means use different places to have the opportunity to do that.
I will say that I feel that the platform in which I feel most authentic is Twitter.
I'd say if you're following me on Twitter, you have a little bit of insight into my brain when I'm not provoking people on purpose.
Yeah.
Like, I would say you have an insight into a lot of my thoughts and the philosophy of like where I'm at. If you read my Twitter without trying to be offended, then yeah, sure. Same for you. I think that that's true for you, Romina. I can definitely see that. I can definitely see more of you represented in your Twitter than in other aspects of your content.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like right now, like as it stands, definitely it's Twitter, and then I feel that NARP is the second on
Yeah.
there.
I agree.
And then YouTube and NARP are kind of like in
I'd
tandem,
say
I feel
there
like, but
for me, and like Clubhouse, but it depends on what rooms I'm in, because I feel sometimes that there are certain
Clubhouse definitely, yeah. When I make the time to pop in there, because I definitely don't have the time to just sit there.
Well, I multitask when I'm in Clubhouse.
And what
But
do you
yeah.
what are you multitasking on?
For me, it's like I'll listen and I'll talk, but I'll also like maybe be writing emails. I'll be working on one of my products in the back end, like because that makes sense and I can do that, or I
Yeah.
can multitask that with because I can't do it with
Right.
video editing, but I can do it definitely with my admin work. I can do it with my admin work for sure.
Yeah, maybe I should try that, because I do enjoy it. It's just like I feel like it's a time suck, you know? Like I can't do other
That's
stuff.
why I don't like. No, I definitely, yeah, I do it. I do it when I'm basically just doing admin work, or if I'm like, if I would kill that time watching Netflix or being in bed, I might do that instead and have a conversation with people instead. You know.
Yeah.
So
Replacing one
it
thing
fills
with
the.
another.
Well, no, it fills the if it's not going to be that I can multitask
Right.
and I'm going to single task it, I'll
Right.
use it as a leisure activity. I'll use it as my leisure activity. I won't stack you. See, here's another trick. Maybe we do it. The next one's like on productivity or something.
Yeah.
Like I do not stack leisure activities. I replace them with each other, meaning that there's a room for a leisure activity, so I pick one. I don't, I have to do this. I have to do this leisure today and do this much leisure. I think too many people fill up too much time with multiple leisure activities versus saying, I'm picking my pleasure today. So it's that I either give this hour to Netflix, or I give it to Xbox, or I give it to talking on the phone with somebody. I'm not going to do all three. And I think that people would be surprised how much they can get done if they live their life that way.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well,
Another thing with the authenticity thing is like, I think that to sum up some of our like query of the evening. I think that the culture of parasocial relationships, people leveraging and abusing vulnerability against people, holding, taking that thing when you expose your underbelly and then stabbing you in it. Like, and I think honestly, cancel culture, saying that you're not allowed to have feelings or opinions or experiences that somebody else decides are offensive and our forms and YouTube and these things. I think that has made authenticity impossible because they've made the price of getting it wrong way too high, because you can be honest and sincere and thoughtful and stuff like right now, or you can do things you genuinely think are like funny or not a problem right now, and 5 years later people could decide that was wrong and then not hold you to what you're doing right now and say, well, you never paid for that 5 years ago, so you have to pay for it today. It's like, how about we focus on who I am and what I'm doing today? I'm like, no one, I don't know. I don't believe in holding people accountable for their past. I'll just say it. I don't believe in holding people accountable for their past. I think that literally, if you want to literally relitigate everything someone's done that's not a crime in the last 5 to 10 years since they've done it, then if you really feel like that is necessary and that you need that to feel like you're living in some better world and everything, you probably need more therapy than the person you're trying to cancel. Like, I'll say it. I do not care if it's not a crime about relitigating someone's behavior from 5 or 10 years ago, especially a young person, because they are a different person by now, for sure. Especially if that stuff was before they were 25, they are a different person. They're not the same. I'm 37 years old, y'all. I've learned and lived long enough to quite literally see people change, grow, evolve, and be radically, radically different people, and not need to be punished in some severe, traumatizing way or be shamed into becoming a better person. You leave people alone, you live and let them live, you get on with your life. You're probably not that hurt by what some jackhole on the internet says or does, because it doesn't really affect you. And if it deeply, deeply, deeply feels like it affects you, I promise you that it's not them, it's some unresolved trauma in your life that your therapist might need to work on. See, I'm authentic to a fault because I'll say something like that, knowing that it's not a popular opinion.
I don't think that's a fault.
Oh, it is today, because you can get canceled for saying some like that. Pragmatically, the thing in my best interest would be to smile and nod and go along with everybody and collect my checks. Challenge nothing, challenge no one, question nothing, smile, nod, and collect your money.
Hey.
That's why authenticity is dead on YouTube, because that's
my motto.
That is an easier life. It is a much easier life to just say vapid, cute things. Just be a cute, fluffy bunny on the internet for us, and don't be problematic, and we'll let you be rich.
I can do that.
Like, never say something never speak out of turn, never challenge anything, never say anything controversial, ever. Just smile and perform and do your bits, and we won't try to mess with your money. And that's where we're at in the, these days in the internet streets.
You know how I can do that so well, Roberto?
What's that?
Because I'm a woman.
I wouldn't go there.
A little sarcasm there.
Yeah, no, not allowed anymore. Not allowed. Get it in while it's still legal. Not allowed. Get it in while it's still legal. Enjoy sarcasm while it's still legal, everybody.
Hello, people in 10 years.
Yeah.
People in 10 years.
Yeah, for those of you watching in the future,
think that this will be accessible in 10 years?
I'll make sure that it's now Audrey will make sure that it's re-uploaded to the HoloNet in 10 years, just like she's supposed to be updating the audio podcast. So,
wow, where is she going? She's creeping away.
Sorry, guys, I got something very important to deal with again.
Well,
Right. Should we start wrapping things up
we
then?
could wrap it up. We could wrap it up. So we'll figure out next week's topic. We'll talk about that in the group chat.
Oh, I was thinking for the 10th or the 100, oh my god, 100th episode, we could
Which
react
is in
to
10th
some.
episode.
Yes, we could react to like some of the older episodes.
Oh my
I don't
god,
know
that
how we
sounds
do that.
awful.
Well, we have StreamYard, so I mean, technically we can because we have StreamYard.
I know, but I wouldn't want to just like let it play and sit there. Like that's boring.
And it wouldn't work for the audio people, so I don't think it works actually. Now that I think about it,
Yeah.
It's a great idea though.
it is. We can revisit it. We have 10 episodes to figure it out if it works.
True.
We have 10 episodes to figure out how to
Could
make it
tweak
work.
it slightly.
That's fair. Man, 90 episodes, man. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Jesus,
Yeah, that is a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
it's crazy.
have either
What-
of you ever done like 90 episodes of a podcast?
No.
Audrey, have you even uploaded 90 videos to your YouTube channel?
Oh yeah, I have like over 200.
Oh, sweet. Like, I know you have, Romina, like on
Yeah.
multiple YouTube channels, so
Yeah.
me, I'm up here in the thousands. So,
Yeah, podcasts? No, I don't think so.
but podcast, this is more
Definitely not.
consistent than my actual podcast, like my personal podcast. Like,
Right.
this is more consistent than any podcast I've ever done.
It definitely wasn't because of me. I'll just put that out there. I mean the not getting to 90 on my other podcasts. Because I haven't done a podcast by myself, you know?
Ugh.
So it's all been with other co-hosts.
Shade.
And they've all eventually
Guys,
fallen.
we're consistent.
You're consistent.
Who's ready
AF.
for
We
episode 200 of NARP?
Trio.
200, here we go.
NARP
Oh my
strong
God.
together.
We're all gonna have gray hair by then.
I already do.
I don't know about me, but
Yeah, it's gonna be a while before I have gray hair, guys. Have you seen my hair?
wait, how long is 9 or 100 episodes? That's 100 weeks. That's what?
Yeah,
over
right,
2
more.
years?
Yeah,
Yeah, a little
technically,
over
yeah.
two. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think we have only really skipped a couple
Like
weeks,
twice.
like when we
Yeah.
were together. Yeah,
Yeah, like there's
I
always
think-
like stuff where we're meeting up together, so it's like 2 or 3 times.
yeah. I mean, anyway, it's an
Tops
estimate.
4. It's tops
pretty
4
close.
because
Yeah.
at tops
Yeah.
it's 4 because of like we skipped recently because of technical difficulties while I was moving.
Oh,
then
true that.
So like,
Right.
and we've had like a few, like we've only had like 4 in 2 years. We've only missed 4 of these, I think. And most of
pretty
that we were in
solid.
person together. Yeah, exactly. So
That's great. Are we gonna have cake?
We should all make like a cake individually.
I
could
would
be
like to
interesting.
see Roberto make a cake.
you act like I can't cook or
You can
bake.
get a cupcake and just write
I'm
100.
Panamanian. Why would you assume I can't cook or bake? I mean,
Who
that's
says
like normal.
Panamanians can bake?
We're
Like that's
taught
not
to-
just like an exclusive. It's not like a
we're
you know
taught,
every
like,
Panamanian knows how to bake.
we're taught our way around the kitchen, and yeah, it's pretty normalized. It's pretty normalized, the culture to be able to cook
I'm
No,
gonna
I
make
know-
a cake out of bagels.
You know.
I know you can cook.
My brother's-
Baking, I've
My
never
brother's
never
much
heard
better
you.
at baking, though. Like
I've
no,
never
I can-
heard
I
you
can-
been like, "Hey y'all, I made cupcakes today." You know what I'm saying?
There's not a reason to, but it's like, but I can. I mean, I can. That kind of.
No,
thing.
I'm sure that you can. I'm just saying.
My brother
this-
is better at it. My brother actually probably could be a chef.
Yes, Diaz, there is going to be an anniversary for this podcast. 100
I think
episodes. We're
we
going to
should all just
celebrate
eat-
it.
A version of cake and write the number 100 on it.
I'm going to go get a cake made.
I'm gonna just get 2 bagels and a breadstick.
We're also potentially going to give a gift card or some sort. We're going to gift our audience something. So stay tuned. In 10 episodes, you might be
Yeah.
a lucky winner.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Ayy. All right, Roberto, do you want to take us out?
Sure. Thank you for listening to Know Something Required podcast, a podcast where we talk about nothing. Tune in next week for another riveting discussion where we challenge internet norms or we just try to amuse ourselves. This has been your trio of hosts, starting with Audrey Ember, roasting Romina, and of course your Dark Lord of the interwebs, bringing you the appropriate amount of fire and brimstone, Roberto Blake. Thank you for listening. Please review on Apple Podcasts and all the other places that reviews happen. Spotify, get to work on allowing us to leave reviews if you don't mind, please and thank you. And we will catch you next week.